All right. You got some noisy-ass birds here today, mate.
I didn't bring them here.
Can't help but feel that you're at fault.
I'll tell you what, bro. I have had an avian kind of week. I've been seeing a lot of birds, different types of birds.
Stop.
What?
Name me someone who goes outside that doesn't see birds. Why is it a particularly avian week?
All right, I got a couple of answers to your things there. Okay, so first of all, name someone who doesn't see birds. My wife is Canadian, right?
Oh, and therefore bird blind?
Well, no, when we lived in Canada, the thing that blew my mind most was during the winter, there were no birds at all. And you couldn't hear birds, and it was like something that you realise, as you said, living in Australia, it's like, fuck, there's birds everywhere all the time. You never know. And then you don't hear them. You're like, what the fuck's going on? This is bizarre. It's weird. Then, no, I know I see lots of birds. Everyone sees lots of birds, but I had some incidents with a couple of birds, okay?
Please, go on.
Okay. First of all, got swooped for the first time by the swoopy boys.
First time in life or first time in season?
First time this season.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, not in life. Come on. And then the weird thing that happened was I got swooped maybe 3 times riding past a place I have to ride past again today on my way to the gym. I'm a bit worried about that. But at the end of the swooping, a cockatoo just was on my face level path right at my head. Like he wasn't moving. He was playing chicken with me. Yeah. And I moved out of the way. Another thing, I went camping this weekend.
Also, well, it was probably a good decision because, there was none of your mates around
no one's
to
gonna
rip
take
on
the
you
piss.
for dogging
I don't
out.
want a fucking cockatoo in the face. Sounds like a euphemism, yeah. And then this weekend I was camping and a bird I'd never seen before, he looked weird. It was one of those birds that you're like, it feels like that animal should have hands. It was one of those birds, he was longer than normal. He's kind of taller. And he looked like he was missing his hands. Like he looked like he should have hands at the top of it. But he came and hung out at our tent.
What are you talking about, missing his hands and being a long boy?
Well, like it looked like a human shape almost. I can't describe this.
Sure this wasn't just an armless dude hanging around?
He was about a foot tall. Maybe less than that, actually. A foot tall is a big bird, isn't it? No, maybe not. I don't know. Either way, it was this beautiful bird, showed up at the campsite, and we were like, oh, look at that, me and my wife, beautiful, lovely. And then he left, and we realised he'd just been shitting the whole time, shit all over our stuff. Some real black shit too, like it looked like he'd been on the piss the night before.
All right, well, that is quite an avian week you've had.
I feel like there was another avian issue, but that's it for now.
If it's not going to spring immediately to mind, then, it's going to have to sit on the avian back burners in the brain.
Avian back burners,
Yeah.
That's good.
Hello, everyone. Yes, Stu here for 2024. Woo, 2024. Yes, and all that gear. Time for a few bit weird specials. So this is What's the Go with Weird Stuff. Myself and Monty, who you'll remember from this show, we used to do a sport podcast called What's the Go. Often we didn't talk much about sport. It was a lot of tangents on weird stuff, a lot of weird chat. So I thought I would put some bits of that weird chat together for the Bit Weird podcast. Hopefully these mashed together bits of a different podcast are entertaining for you. You sit down.
Shut up.
All right. What's good? What's good?
Fucking this, fucking that, doing this, fucking doing that.
Why do you have to swear on our podcast?
I feel it gets my point across better and gives me an edge.
Gives you an edge?
Yeah. Do you remember the wrestler Edge?
I do, but do you think people go, ooh, that guy, be careful of him?
I think there are people sitting there and they're like, oh yeah, what's this rubbish? And then they hear me say fuck and they're like, oh, what's that?
All right.
And their ears pin up a bit. Oh, I see, he's one of those kind of guys.
I'll tell you what you've done. You've fucked our chances of ever getting picked up by the Disney network. I assume there's a Disney podcast network.
Ooh, I wonder if there is. There probably is. I wonder what they talk about. Do you reckon Mickey Mouse has a podcast? Creepy. That's creepy.
It's just that for 3 hours.
Is he a Nazi, Mickey Mouse?
What a great question. Tell me more.
Well, wasn't Walt Disney was like a Nazi or maybe an anti-Semite of some sort, huh?
Well,
Is his head frozen?
yeah, famously.
Is that for real, though?
Well, why would they lie?
Same reason I swear on the podcast. Give him an edge.
For edge.
Yeah. Stu, you know me. Sometimes I write down funny thoughts I have in my iPhone notes bit, right?
Yeah. Well, you have some, I'm going to call them low-level aspirations of doing some stand-up. Is that accurate?
It was a fleeting thought, I suppose. Let's go.
Past tense.
No, I still think of it sometimes, especially when I've indulged, apparently, because I write down ideas. So I woke up with 2 new ones this weekend. Well, Monday morning, I was looking at my notes. I was like, fuck, I don't remember writing those.
Okay, are these bits? Are you calling these bits?
I think they could be turned into bits.
All right.
One was I had just written, take me down to Paradox City, where the girls are ugly and the girls are pretty. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, and just end it there.
Yeah, just end it there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm no Weird Al Yankovic.
No, I don't think anyone's asking you to be.
Good. I don't think anyone's asking for another Weird Al Yankovic. The other bit I found was a little harder to interpret, but upon reading the words, I realised what I had thought. It's a visual gag, and it's not really for a stand-up bit, but what I had thought up in my head was, cigars that come in like a cigar tube?
Yeah.
If I was to always carry one of those with a pre-cooked hot dog in it and just take it out when need be and munch on the hot dog.
Time to celebrate, boys. Pull it.
Start munching on a hot dog. I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, that's amusing. Again, we should just do a sketch show where every sketch is like 10 seconds long.
I'd love that.
Someone's probably done it before.
My wife had a weird thing. A lot of my funny comes from my wife, and she is quite funny without meaning to be. And she did this bit on the phone to me yesterday that just like halfway through, I was like, fuck, she's doing a great bit. I don't know how, I said, this is great. You got to do your stand-up. She didn't realise. What happened was we were talking on the phone, and then the phone cut out. And then we started talking, and I said, hey, so what happened there? Like, whose phone? She said, shh, I don't fucking care. Let's just keep talking. And then I was like, what do you mean? And she started ranting about how, who cares what happened to the phone? We both know that the phone was gone. Now the phone is back.
I love this.
Yeah. All we're doing is wasting time here.
I am so on board with that. The number of times I've had a conversation, because I've got a few black spots in my house, and I'll walk through, and then whoever I'm talking to will go, oh, what happened there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Am
who
I
cares?
a fucking phone technician?
Exactly. Yeah.
Furthermore, don't give a fuck what happened. We're back talking now.
If I didn't want to talk to you and had done something for that, I wouldn't be talking again. You know what I mean? Again, I was like, yeah, that's cool.
100% with her. Is she going to do some stand-up?
I hope so. I also wrote, why is breakfast different, but lunch and dinner are pretty much interchangeable? It's true.
Oh, that's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. And also, I've written here, this one I must have been drunker. I said, I'll gamble however I want, you bloodsuckers. Gamble responsibly. Fuck you. Because I assume I saw a gambling ad that said gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
I said, I'll gamble however I want, you bloodsucker. Found a redback spider in my backyard yesterday.
We don't need roads.
Nice.
You found a redback spider?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere, mate.
They fucking are, aren't they?
Well, yeah. But they're also not particularly scary.
Then they look scary, but they're not so aggressive.
No, and I think a great deal of the fear around them has just mainly been the fact that they like to hide in toilets.
Oh, yeah.
And bite you on either the anus or ball sack as you take a dump. I'm being sexist there, and they might bite vulvas.
Yeah, I don't like being bitten on the anus. That's
No,
what you're saying.
hence the fear.
Well, some people might.
Hence the fear of them.
Hence the fear of
They're
them.
not particularly poisonous or aggressive.
I thought
but,
they were pretty poisonous.
well, they're poisonous, but they're not going to kill you like a funnel web is.
Oh. So what's the worst one, funnel web?
Yeah,
What about trapdoor?
not as poisonous. I think the funnel web's kind of around your upper echelon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the world?
yeah.
Wow, that's scary.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, snakes appear to have a kind of venom ranking system more so than spiders.
Yeah, spiders don't really have a ranking, do they?
No, But there's, you get things like there's a snake called the fierce snake.
I know the fierce snake, yeah. He's little, though, but he gets you.
He's fucking poisonous.
Yeah, he'll get you. But not many of them. They're out in the middle of nowhere too, right?
And yes, and creatively named.
You know what scares me and my wife a lot is sea snakes.
Yeah, because you forget they exist.
Yeah, and then you're in the water and what's that? Oh, it's a snake.
I don't understand why we need sea snakes.
If there was ever a case for extincting an animal, what are they good for?
I don't know. I know what you're good for. Great verbs.
Extincting.
Yeah, fuck sea snakes. Right
They
off.
are fucking hectic. And they come quite. There was one at Bondi recently.
Was there?
That's
that's no good.
But also, if you put a regular snake in the water, what happens?
Oh,
Do
well,
they grow to 3 times their size?
I think they look a bit uncomfortable. In the first.
Do they sink? I wonder.
Whoa.
Also,
there might be something for listeners to.
do sea snakes only dwell at the top of the water, or can they dive?
No, they get down.
submarine
They get
style?
down into the rocks and stuff as well.
Fucking creepy.
I don't like it at all.
No, bro,
because
no wonder.
you might mistake it for an eel as well. You know how they've
a
got
friendly
those
eel.
funny
Yeah.
eels that.
Oh, look,
kind
a
of-
friendly eel. No, he's not friendly at all.
I'm not happy with it.
Eels are fucking hectic too, by the way. Electric ones. What?
So you're having a swim. Something long and slithery is coming towards you. Would you rather it be a sea snake or an electric eel?
Whoa. I'd prefer neither, but I suppose out of those two, a sea snake?
Yeah. Why? What are you going to do?
Well, I feel like electricity and water, he could shoot me from distance,
Yeah.
like Raiden.
Yeah. I get you.
Whereas, like, a sea snake, I think I could try and avoid him, but he probably swims better than me.
I'd say so. Being his habitat.
It is his habitat, but it's also a electric eel's habitat.
Mm.
Could we harness the power of electric eels to power things?
I guess so, but do they only get electric when they're irritated?
So we'd have to keep them constantly
We'd
irritated.
need some sort of constant irritation mechanism.
Play him, like get Carl Sanderlands in a room to talk.
Oh,
You like that?
bit of social satire there.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was going for,
Yeah.
social satire.
Social commentary.
What else you got? What's your off the top of your head annoying? How are we going to annoy the electric eels?
I don't know. What about sleep deprivation?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Do eels sleep?
They must.
Do
They must.
Do they must?
Well, yes.
Okay.
But, things like, for some reason, I hate the sound of people. You know when you burn a bit of toast?
Yeah.
And that sound of scraping the burnt bits off with a knife? I hate that sound.
Yeah.
So if I were an eel, that would irritate me, as it would irritate me if I were any kind of organism.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we put them in a room,
Scrape toast at them.
but could they hear that underwater? Or would we have to underwater scrape the toast?
Oh, I don't know. Do we need them to be underwater? We can kind
Oh,
of stick
I've got
there.
an idea. Self-sustaining here. We power the underwater toaster using the electric eel's electricity,
Yeah.
but use the sound of the scraping. And then no one benefits out of it except the eels stay annoyed.
Yeah, but also they might at some point figure out that the more annoyed they get, the burnt the toast gets.
Whoa, so they chill the fuck out.
Yeah, and then don't get irritated, and then it's self-cancelling.
Whoa. Did you know dogs are the only animal that understand pointing, other than humans?
Really?
Every other animal will look to the hand. Dogs are the only ones that understand that we're going for something the other direction. Yeah, cats don't get it. Stupid cats. It's funny.
What? I wonder why that is, firstly, and also wonder why that was studied.
I assume there was like a bunch of kind of old school like Darwin kind of folk who were trying to show all these animals which way to the cages, and they just wouldn't
right.
go. Except the dogs. Did you know, I heard something about Darwin the other day that really changed my opinion of him. I think we've talked about this before, maybe not on this podcast, but not only was he cataloguing all the animals he found, he was trying to eat one of everything he found. Did you know that?
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I have heard
So
that.
he's out here eating Galapagos turtles and shit.
I think it's interesting that Charles Darwin looks quite apish.
I think he was looking into his own family.
I think that's how it all came about.
He was like, how the fuck did I get to me? Do you reckon he was the link?
Well, just chimps seem overly kind of enamoured of him.
Did
And you wonder why that is. And they look like, let's say they had, you looked in a mirror and went, God damn.
Were you just before that questioning if they had mirrors then? Because
I don't, and then I realised they've had them for centuries.
But also, I don't understand what mirror is. What is mirror?
Well, a mirror in centuries ago was just a kind of
Polished metal?
shiny metal surface.
What about the mirror we think of today? What is that? What substance is that? Mirror? Is mirror a substance? If anybody knows what mirrors are, please write in. Stu, have I ever told you about that time I saw two homeless guys dressed as Santa Claus have a brawl out the front of Central Station?
No, and I'm angry at you for not having done so.
It was upsetting to say the least. They were very intoxicated, two of them. I don't know why they both... When I say dressed as Santa...
let me ask. Did you see it from the start or did you walk in midstream?
I walked in midstream.
Right.
Yeah. When I say dressed as Santa, I reckon they had one Santa outfit spread between the two of them.
Well, maybe that's what they were fighting.
Could be. Now, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, one of them was wearing a kind of shirtless under a kind of Santa velvet jacket almost.
Yeah, makes
and
sense.
A Santa hat. Mm. And the other one was in pretty much only Santa shorts. Yeah.
Traditional Santa
Traditional
shorts.
Australian Santa shorts. And yeah, it was a pretty full-on brawl just at the end of school out the front of Central Station. So there were some young kids, man. Yeah. Kids who are on the cusp of maybe still believing in Santa. Yeah, it was harrowing.
All right. But once you see a Santa in shorts, you start questioning things, don't you?
Yeah. Have you ever seen also that yearly thing in New York, the Santa crawl? I think it might be Santa Day over there.
Right.
That is literally yearly. There are videos of like multi-Santa brawl. Yeah. We will stop this and look that up. They're great. Like a group of 40 drunk Santas all punching on. It's great.
They need to, but for the sake of everyone's enjoyment, they need to be fully kitted out. I don't want this half Santa shit.
They go all out in the Santa.
Yeah.
It's not a homeless guy out the front of Central Station.
Right,
this is
okay,
people
thank you.
in a bloody Santa outfit.
Now, these two guys, how did it resolve? Like, what happened?
Oh, it's probably too hardcore for our viewing audience. One guy bottled the other guy, and then the police showed up with a long neck too. Yeah, it was hectic.
So hang on. He was saving the bottle for if the fight started not going his way. He was holding the bottle back.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. It was one of those kind of less dramatic but more passionate bottlings too, where
as opposed to what? The casual bottle.
No. Like a kind of fight style bottling is where you would hold the bottle by its neck and then hit them as a kind of downswing. Yeah. Whereas a passionate bottling is more of a holding the drink as if you're drinking it and then thrusting it into their face, like a forward kind of. Yeah. So it was, because I think he was trying to not bottle the other man, and then it just all got too much, and he did.
Yeah. Yeah, I've worked in pubs, etc. before.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said about your bottling and glassing technique.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen someone just shove a glass into someone's face. You're going to get cuts on your hands.
Absolutely.
Fucking think about what you're doing.
My friend glassed himself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was quite funny. He was, we had...
Was he fighting himself over a Santa suit?
We had quite a party, and everyone, it was, we were 18, 19, something like that. And everyone had gone to sleep in different kind of various states of disarray in various places, and he had fallen asleep holding a wine glass in a beanbag outside and woke up with blood all over him and glass, and came inside. Who bottled me? Who bottled me? He had fallen asleep and bottled himself with the glass.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Who bottled me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah,
that was me.
Yeah. I found a list of numbered weird sports.
Right.
So I thought I'd tell you about them, and we can, talk about them as we go through.
How many weird sports?
I don't know the number. I've only started at the top. I don't know how far this goes.
All right. So we could be here 5 minutes. We could be here
exactly
50 minutes.
Exactly.
All right.
Now, number one, I don't find very weird, but I'll tell you about it. It's sepak takraw. Are you familiar with sepak takraw?
I'm going to say no, I'm not. And I'm also going to say you can pack that question away for the rest of them because I probably haven't heard of any of these.
No, I reckon you'll have heard of some of them.
Okay.
Setback to crawl it's awesome. It's gangster. It's cool as. It's
gangster.
It's Southeast Asian sport that's like soccer and volleyball combined.
Right.
But the ball is a little kind of bamboo dealy.
Right. So you've got to get it over the net, but only using feet.
Yeah, but they do like spikes where they like backflip and kick it down. Yeah, that's
like
pretty
bicycle.
Yeah, it's awesome. I believe there is a Jackie Chan film which it features in heavily. I think he's like a setback to crawl guy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool sport, and I wouldn't call it that weird, but it's pretty awesome.
I might look some footage up.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Number 2 is, you've heard of this, but it's shit that it's a real sport. I hate the fact that this is a thing. Quidditch.
How's it a real sport?
Well, it appears as if here they just use balls and have to hold a stick while they're running around, a broomstick while they're running around.
Can you imagine the sort of people who play that?
Yeah, dickheads. Yeah, moving on. Number 3. Now, this is more, we're getting weirder here. Tuna tossing.
Tuna tossing.
Tuna tossing.
Is that what I think it is?
What do you think it is?
Discus, but with tuna?
Yeah, but more, it's less discus, more...
Hammer throw?
Yeah, is hammer the one on the end of the chain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, you've got it appears as if you've got like a kind of hook in the tuna's mouth. It's quite hefty looking tuna.
Right.
Spin him around and launch him, see how far he goes.
So is there a standard chain length, or can you choose a shorter or longer chain depending on your own tactics?
That it doesn't say, but it does tell me that it's a 20-pound fish.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, how long will you have to fish for to make sure you've got enough fish of exactly the same weight to hold a competition?
Well, I assume you'd grow fish from babies and kill them as soon as they got to 20 pounds.
Right, so then you've got different stages of being frozen.
Oh.
Because they're not going to catch them all at once. Like, if you need, say,
Well,
let's say you need...
in my scenario, we're farming them. We're not catching them.
Fine, but you need, let's say, how many fish do you think you need for one competition? Let's say 40.
Really? I was going to say 1 or 2.
But what are you saying? They're holding a competition, there's 2 throws.
No, they go and get the fish and bring it back and
as
give
if
it
it
to the
wouldn't
guy.
be battered beyond... Like,
You think we're just leaving fish out there?
No, but it would fall apart and then lose its aerodynamicness, surely.
Is aerodynamism a word? All right, number 4 we're up to now. Toe wrestling.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, players play with their bare feet alternating between their left and right feet and play the best of 3 rounds.
Okay.
Other than that, it doesn't really describe to me what's happening.
Well, it'd just be like thumb wrestling, just with big toes, surely.
Yeah, except although here it says it's more similar to arm wrestling.
Well, maybe they just have really long toes, whoever came up with this game.
The people in the picture look very kind of middle to lower class British. Which strikes me as like exactly what this would be.
What's with the disdain?
Have a look at the pictures. You
fine,
tell me.
Fine, but what's with the disdain?
It's not disdain. It's just, they come up with weird sports. They got, they got to keep themselves
They
interesting.
certainly like darts, I know that.
Yeah, they do. Number 5. It's one of my favourites. I quite like this sport. I had heard of it before. It's chess boxing. You ever heard of chess boxing?
Is it like live human-sized chess, but when you fight a piece, you've got to actually fight a piece?
No, but that's awesome. I like the sound of that. That's
why
heaps
isn't that
better.
what it
yeah,
is?
That's heaps better. It would take a while, unless you just got one punch at each other's head.
Yeah.
Whoever goes down.
Now,
But that's not really how chess works.
hang on.
There's no battle.
Stop everything.
Maybe you just get to punch the opposing player. So it's like it's a whole human-sized chessboard, but say I'm a pawn and I take a bishop, I just get to punch the guy that's wearing the bishop thing in his mush.
Stop everything. I've got a new game show here.
Yeah.
Like battle chess.
Battle chess.
Right.
I like it.
So it's full life-size human chess,
Yeah.
right? But when you go to take a piece, you've actually got to... They've got to do a challenge of some kind. Whoever
okay.
wins
Gets
stays on the board.
Wow. I like that. I think
And
there's
so-
some issues with it, but I like it.
But normally you just take the piece if you just move into the spot and take it.
Yeah.
This has got a wrinkle. The piece can defend itself.
So the piece defends itself. If the defending piece wins, does he move to the spot that the attacking piece was?
No, stays where it is.
And the attacking piece lives?
No.
Okay.
So maybe you've got to do whatever the challenge is. It's got to advantage the attacking
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
but
okay.
defending side still has a chance.
I like it. Yeah, there's something there. We'll work on
Let's
that.
workshop that.
Yeah.
Everyone steal that idea. We're coming at you.
We will. Attack chess style. Chess boxing. It's fun.
Yeah.
12 rounds. You have to fight for 3 minutes, a regular boxing match, and then play chess for 3 minutes. You can win by knocking the guy out, getting a checkmate, or winning on points at the end of the 12 rounds if the chess isn't over. So surely you'll get worse at chess as it goes along.
I suppose, yes.
Brain and brawns, you know. Number 6, we've talked about this before. It's nothing too weird. That would be hot dog eating.
Is that a sport?
It says here it's a sport. It's more of a pastime, in my opinion.
Like baseball.
America's favourite pastime. Question 7. Question 7? No. Number 7. This is the one I was quite interested by. Man versus horse marathon.
Handicapped, I assume.
Man versus horse marathon. Not handicapped.
Oh, okay. So what do we say? Man has potential to have enough stamina to beat a horse over a certain period.
I'll read you the thing. You can
Please.
tell me because I loved this.
I'm jumping in and deciding what I think it is before letting you read.
This marathon began as a way to settle a pub argument in 1979 when Welsh locals Gordon Green and Glyn Hones wondered who would win a marathon, a horse or a man.
Of course they did.
Surely one of them was far drunker than the other, the guy who's arguing for man, right? Ever since then, an annual 22-mile, 35.5 kilometre marathon is held in Welsh Town, Wales. Welsh Town, Wales.
Yep. Welshton in Wales.
No, it's the other way. It's a town called Wales in Welsh Town. With both men and horse running. How's this bit, though? It's been held since 79. Men have won on 2 occasions.
What?
But it's usually the horse that emerges victors. If a human wins, they are eligible to win a $40,000 cash prize.
Okay.
Eligible.
What other challenges?
I don't know.
What other challenges do they?
I don't know what happened.
So hang on. The time that men have won, I'm being sexist there, that people have won, might have been women.
Well, men can be the royal term for hominids,
Mankind.
right?
Yeah, right. Is a horse kind of, been distracted by some oats potentially or something like that? What's that like?
I'll tell you what, I suppose if the horse was unridden, he would have no idea.
Of course not.
It would probably be weirder that he did win. For him to go the same direction for 35K. Yeah, I don't know. I like the one thing I like about this is it's literally giving me a paragraph on each. I'm not going to look into anything else.
No. Why would you
guess? Yeah. It's weird that men have only won 2 times. Maybe this one horse knows the way, likes it.
Maybe it's like pub pool where like whoever wins has to carry over into the next game. So if the horse won for 20 years in a row.
Same horse, he's real
horse.
old and tired.
Yeah.
But he does know the course.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they keep winning.
I like that. All right, moving on. Oh no, my computer's gotten real dark. It's fine now. Number 8 is the Redneck Games.
Redneck Games. Is that Olympics for kind of your Confederate sort of states?
Some of the events include toilet seat tossing, seed spitting, mud belly flops, armpit serenades, and dumpster diving. I think it's just a redneck get together.
Wonderland.
A hoedown.
Yeah.
Wheelbarrow racing, number 9.
Yeah, that
you
sounds
put a
right.
human in a wheelbarrow and you race.
Makes sense to me.
Extreme ironing. You've heard of extreme ironing? I've always seen extreme ironing, but I've never really understood how you would score it.
So any further information in that paragraph there about extreme ironing? Just so we got some parameters for how...
Extreme ironing is a type of extreme sport where people take clothes and ironing boards to remote or dangerous locations to do a spot of ironing.
Fuck, really?
Yeah, I've seen this. So like people like ironing as they jump out of a plane or ironing off the side of a building, that kind of vibe.
Okay, that's not what I thought. I thought it was like you had to iron a hectic amount of shirts in a very small period of time.
Giant pumpkin kayaking. If you're tired of using a kayak to go kayaking, then why not give this quirky sport a try instead? The most famous giant pumpkin race by far takes place annually on Nova Scotia's Lake Pessaquid. The race is around half a mile long and participants typically decorate their pumpkins in a colourful way. So it appears as if this man has hollowed out a rather large pumpkin and sat in it.
Yeah, put himself on a lake.
Underwater football, I've seen this. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Unicycle hockey?
I'd watch that.
Yeah, I would watch that too. I wouldn't play it though.
No.
For lots of reasons. Now,
straight
this
off.
one, this is where I was like, I hope we get to this one before it runs out of battery. Number 17, competitive worm charming. Competitive worm charming. Worm charming is a sport in which participants attempt to lure as many earthworms out of the ground as possible within a predefined time frame.
With what? Siren song?
There are many kinds of techniques that can be used. However, the most common one is to simply tap the ground rhythmically until the worms begin to emerge.
Why does that make worms come out?
They're party animals, man. They can't help but come to the beat.
Like a constant tapping might have been like...
Make them go further down.
Well, like it might be a bird's beak tapping on the ground trying to look for worms. Why would you come up and see what the fuck was going on?
Good point. Yeah.
Suicidal.
You know, I've got it. I'm no scientist, but you know they always come up when it's wet.
Oh, so I think it's raindrops.
Maybe.
Yeah, you might be right there.
So yeah, there's the world of weird sports.
Yeah. I've just had a look at 25 funniest names in baseball history.
All right, good. Can I? Yeah, all right, great. I'm loving this. Okay, so can I see if I can get any on there?
If you like, have you got some?
Yogi Berra.
All right. I'm going to look through this list one by one.
Yeah, okay.
So that I can amuse myself rather than
all right.
just trying to host.
Well, then let you do it, and then we'll discuss from there.
Okay, and you can tell me after whether you knew
Please,
it, and
yeah.
that will be entertaining for people listening.
Knew it.
Number 1, Urban Shocker.
That's a good name. Urban Shock sounds like a sex move.
Yeah, born Urbain Jacques Shocker.
That's even better.
He spent 13 seasons in the league playing for New York Yankees and St. Louis Browns. So somewhere along the line.
St. Louis Browns.
Yeah.
Your left fielder there's been dead 103 years. Mordecai Three-Finger Brown. Go on.
Johnny Dickshot.
Dick Shot's good. That's great.
Okay, so, all right. He's, grown. He's having the name Johnny Dickshot can make growing up hard, but when you're given the nickname Ugly.
Ugly Dick Shot?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Why do you need a nickname? Surely
Yeah,
Dickshot's doing the work for you.
Dick Shot's great.
Yeah. Chicken Wolf.
That's his name, Chicken Wolf?
Yep. Beer.
Just single name beer.
Yeah, as it turns, I'll read this copy here. As it
Ronaldo's-
turns out, little is known about beer. Not that beer, we all know that beer. But apparently in 1910, a player by the name of Beer played 10 games for the Lancaster Lanks in the Ohio State League. Lancaster Lanks?
Love that. Love that.
All right. Cal McClish.
Cal McClish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that funny.
No. Shouldn't these get better as the list goes on?
Or are you going from one backwards? Is it one of those shit internet
I'm just
lists?
reading from the top of the article down.
I'm enjoying this, though.
Cocoa Crisp.
Yeah, I know my boy Coco Crisp. I think he was good at stealing bases, and I always thought he sounded like cereal.
Well, yeah.
Coco Crisp.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a cereal.
Oil Can Boyd. They're just chucking people's nicknames in here now.
Yeah.
That's not...
Unless his given name is a Will Can.
No, it's Dennis Ray Boyd. And maybe he called himself Oil Can, but that doesn't qualify for getting on a list.
Isn't. No, that's because that's just a nickname.
Dick Pole.
That's funny.
Yeah. Dickie Thon.
A lot of dick stuff in here, isn't there?
Razor Shines.
That's better.
I don't mind that.
We have an AFL umpire called Razor, don't we? Razor Ray Chamberlain.
That might be a nickname.
I think it is.
Razor Shines saw limited action as a player in the league with limited duty as a first baseman for the Montreal Expos.
The Expos. That's one of my favourite teams. Like they're gone now. I believe they came the Washington Redskins. Not Redskins. Sorry, yeah, no, we don't say that. I believe they came the Washington Nationals. I think weirdly a team moved from Canada down to Washington.
Well, that makes sense.
I think I could be wrong.
He has surfaced since, however, most recently as a coach with the Mets.
Right, Dick Shine. Dick Shine?
No, that's Razor Shine.
Razor Shine.
Yeah.
We'll hear more about Dick Shine later.
Dick Shine never made it into the coaching ranks. Tim Spoonie Barger.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
That's good. That's my favourite so far, I think. Spoonie Barger.
Yeah.
Hard to yell out. Oh, Daryl Strawberry's got to be in this, right? Daryl Strawberry's a funny name.
Yeah, but...
No, it's not really when you think about it.
It's doesn't kind of... I wouldn't stand Strawberry up next to Spoonie Barger.
Nah, Spoonie Barger's funny.
Yeah. Wonderful Mons.
That's good. Is his first name Wonderful?
Yep. I don't doubt that many parents out there think their children are wonderful, but Atlanta Braves outfielder Wonderful Mons must have had some excited parents. After his birth, his full name is Wonderful Terrific Mons.
That's pretty cool.
Buff Bonza.
Buff Bonza? That sounds like a rugby league player.
Yeah, Dick Padden. That's no good.
No.
Ed Head.
Ed Head's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What about Ed Med? Do you remember Ed Med?
I do. It's Steve Edmed.
Steve Edmed.
Why didn't they call him Ed?
Ed Med.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Shooty Babbitt.
Ned Ed Med would have been good too. Shooty Babbitt.
Yeah.
That sounds like a term for a medical condition you have. I've got a shooty Babbitt. My Babbitt gets a bit shooty.
In one of the shortest careers of players on this list, Shooty Babbitt's only season with the Oakland Athletics was 1981.
Oh, shooty Babbitt.
He appeared in 54 games. Back
That's
to
not
this
many.
fucking baseball
Yeah, not
being
many.
300 games per season. He had a short career, only appeared in 54 games.
That's not many games.
Yeah, but...
That's about 4 seasons of NRL, right?
10 million.
That's his name, 10 million.
Yeah.
10 million?
Yeah. 10 million is a common number these days when referring to player contracts.
Yeah.
But from 1911 to 16, 10 million played a handful of minor league teams in America and Canada.
10 million, that's a great name.
Milton Bradley, like the board game.
Did he go on to make board games or?
No, it's not the same.
Different guy.
Different, yeah. This is the one I was looking for before. You can read it out for me.
Ooh. Rusty Kuntz. That's quite the name.
Oh, hang on. No, it says here, at first glance, you might think this is the most hilarious, irreverent, and maybe even unrepeatable name we've seen.
I did.
But it all gets taken back a notch as you realise, and he has clarified, that it's pronounced Kuntz. So there you go.
Yeah, I was right.
That's not the oddest on this list. They've got Cannonball Titcomb.
Titcomb?
Titcomb.
Cannonball Titcomb.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Chief Bender.
That's the best one so far. Chief Bender. Tell me about Chief Bender. Who is Chief Bender?
Spending the majority of his Hall of Fame career with the Philadelphia Athletics. God, there's a lot of athletics.
Yeah, didn't we just talk about the Oakland Athletics?
Chief Bender won...
Oh, I think the Philadelphia Athletics went to Oakland. Same team.
Confusing. Chief Bender won 212 games and retired with a solid 2.46 career ERA.
Earned runs average.
Yeah. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee in 1953. That's Chief Bender. Pussy Tebow. Goose Gossage.
Goose Gossage. I know that name. How do I know that name? Goose Gossage.
Well, he's part of the 1978 World Series championship team for the Yankees. Pickles Dolhofer.
Pickles Dolhofer.
Dillhofer, sorry.
Dillhofer. Pickles Dillhofer.
Yeah.
That's a condiment.
Yeah.
Pickles Dill.
Pickles and Dill. And the last one's Pete Lecoq, which I've got issues with the numbering on this article.
Yeah, that's not.
Maybe they thought it was funny because it sounded a bit French.
Yeah.
Americans have a funny sense of humour.
Yeah. I would have played for the Montreal Expos.
Yeah. Look at who's talking. I just read out a list of silly names and I'm bagging someone else's sense of humour. On that note, Monty,
Yes.
Any parting thoughts?
Write in if you know where Jacko is.
We still need to know where
intrigued by that.
Jacko is. Yeah.
Oi!
If you see him in the street, give him one of those. I'm sure that hasn't happened for the last 40 years for him.
I wonder if he's dead. The other team name that we're going to talk about is, finally, thank the Lord, Seattle is getting hockey back. And that has been on the cards for quite some time. They're coming back in the next season, and they have today announced their name. It's divided people. I like it a lot. What do you think, Stu? They are the Washington State Seattle Kraken.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think, I like the name Kraken. I think it might suit another team. I'm just wondering whether it suits Seattle because does Seattle have like a long and proud seafaring tradition?
Absolutely. They are in the northern Pacific Ocean, which is
I know that.
That's where you find the crack.
Is it?
Well, yes. I think it's a mythical being.
Wow.
Maybe it's not, actually.
Well, it depends how big a squid you want to term a kraken. Are you happy calling a 10-foot squid a kraken?
I am.
Well, there you go. Maybe Seattle are too.
I think they're a seafaring town. I mean, Seattle's on a sound.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I just didn't know that they were famous for being...
What were you thinking? Maybe the Starbucks?
Oh,
That's where the coffee comes from.
the Pointy Towers.
Pointy Towers. There you go. Pointy Towers is good. That's actually
The Frasers.
The Frasers.
How about that?
Fraser Cranes. Yeah. That's good. I like Kraken better than all our ideas so far.
Okay, last one. The Seattle tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
Baby, I hear the blues are calling, tossed salad and scramble.
Don't tell me that wouldn't get people.
Mercy.
And you can have two mascots. One's a salad bowl.
And one's Niles. Yes, I like it.
One is the dirty old chair that the dad used to sit in.
Yeah. Nice. Or the dog.
No, that's too obvious. You want something that people are going to go, it's the chair with the masking tape on it.
I like their apartment. I quite like that apartment.
It's a good apartment.
Am I led to believe that Frasier, Niles, his father, and the English nanny live in the apartment?
Well.
Or is it just the father's apartment?
No, I think it's Frasier's apartment. The father's moved in, and I just think that Niles and the other one don't leave. Or maybe she is living.
I think she might be living.
Is the nanny, is it a nanny or a mate? Or what is she?
Well,
a
she
carer?
can't be a carer.
Yeah.
A carer.
Is she a live-in carer on Frasier?
Maybe.
Write in. Let us know.
We'd also love to hear what you think of the name the Kraken. But I think I'd prefer to hear if she is a live-in carer
We
first.
need to know if she's a live-in
that's
carer.
far more important.
And if so, does that mean that there should be more sexual chemistry between Frasier and the carer?
Isn't that the whole go, though? There is, isn't there? But there isn't.
Oh, I want more. So there you go. There's a little special for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Reach out on the socials. Follow the socials if you're not already. Bit weird, but fair enough, I guess. And let me know. I might do another one of these, but if I shouldn't, let me know on the socials if you think this was shit. This is an Angry Chimp podcast.